What's going on, team? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we are going to talk through hip internal rotation, why it's important, and then 3 of the best movements that you can do to strengthen that plane of motion and your hip internal rotation. We need good internal rotation for good mechanics when it comes to movements like running and squatting. The infamous butt wink that occurs in some people's squat can often be related back to having poor internal rotation, as our squat mechanics aren't how they should be, with the musculature and the joint not working as it should. Common cause of this is prolonged sitting down, so looking at desk jobs and things like that, where our hips don't reach full extension, and then that posterior capsule starts to tighten and we can't get a good range of movement into the hip in that internal rotation. It's something that I've been working with. Here you can see the difference between my right and left knee when I make impact with the ground. Due to increased running volume, I've noticed this, and this is because of poor internal rotation and a weakness in my glutes that is causing me to have some slight pain in my knee. So here are 3 movements that you can use to work on your internal rotation and strengthen it for your training. The first movement is a banded internal rotation. We're going to get into a 90-degree angle with both of our knees, and what we're aiming to do using that band for resistance is internally rotate one knee at a time and try and get that knee down to the floor whilst rotating through the hip. Use a nice light band on this one. We're not looking to really fight against this resistance. We're just looking to add a little bit extra and really focus on rotating that hip joint in and getting that knee down towards the floor. Try and think about keeping your foot flexed throughout this and really emphasize that rotation and that twist as you work down towards the floor. The next one is going to be a banded hip car with, again, a focus on that internal rotation. We're going to use a slightly thicker band than the exercise we just did. We're going to get into our hip cars position on all fours, and then what we're going to do with that band, providing some resistance within the hip capsule, is we're going to try and rotate our foot outwards, which is going to put our hip into internal rotation. With that resistance band, we're just adding that extra bit of resistance and difficulty and really getting into that hip capsule to work through our internal rotation. And the final one is going to be using a roller, and we're going to be sitting either on a bench on a box, and we're going to again try and internally rotate by moving our foot out and trying to press into that roller. This one can get a little bit crampy in the hip and in the glutes, so just be careful of that one and don't expect a massive range of motion in this one. This is a tricky movement to perform. On this one, you should feel your glutes and your hips working quite hard on this one to maintain it. Again, keep that foot flexed throughout and really focus on trying to get as much range as you can, but not working through any pain. So those are 3 of my favorite movements for your hip internal rotation. If you want to check out more CrossFit training tips, more mobility videos and things like that, make sure you check out the rest of the videos on this channel, and also make sure you head over to my Instagram for more short form content there.